Hello, deer. It's SilentSigns from I Dream of Indie, and today we are taking a look at DEEEER Simulator, your average, everyday deer game. And just to be clear, that is deer with 4 E's. This is, allegedly, a slow-life town destruction game. You begin by intricately crafting a character with whatever eye color, hair, clothing, facial features your little heart desires, and I won't necessarily spoil what happens next, but long story short and push comes to shove, you end up playing as a deer. This isn't just any deer, though. This deer knows how to drive, well, sort of. It also has very stabby horns and can run like a cartoon character. And that neck. Oh boy, that neck. The game gives you the option to kind of free range explore this small little world that this deer is inhabiting, and ultimately what you're going to end up doing is breaking a bunch of stuff. You'll have a Deerzaster bar at the top right corner of your screen that will have a letter grade that increases the more chaos you create within this world. But of course, no actions are without consequences, and as you fall further into chaos, eventually the police are on the job. This is no ordinary police force, of course. I mean, look at the game you're playing. Officers come out in waves of increasing difficulty, which ultimately culminates into one of the most bizarre battles I've ever been a part of, and I have played a lot of games. For a little more spice to your destruction, you can equip various weapons that you'll pick up along the way, such as a grenade launcher and guns. You can even hop in a car if you want to give a new meaning to deer in the headlights. However you choose to play, it is ultimately run-based, and after your 3 hearts of health are depleted, your run will end and you will begin at square one. Evading the police is not the only fun to be had here. There are little other bits of gameplay that you can encounter by just exploring the island. For example, you can take on a giant cow in a rousing game of Cowthello. The majority of fun you're going to have with Deer Simulator is just going to be exploring this very bizarre world for all of the little Easter eggs that are hidden within it, and of course just appreciating the sheer weirdness that they have created here. If you're looking for a game with logic and fluid controls, one that has a great camera and beautiful graphics, you have come to the wrong place, and you should know that. This is Deer Simulator with 4 E's. The game certainly does not play like a dream, and I don't think it's supposed to. There are glitches where the deer will kind of just go through walls, and your camera will flip in all sorts of which ways, and the ways that vehicles control is less than ideal, but it really just adds to the overall weird vibes that this game is putting out there, and it kind of works in their favor, which leads me to the Nightmare Fuel, which is the graphical presentation of Deer Simulator. It goes for that low poly look and truly creates the stuff of nightmares. I don't know how else to describe it. A koala with laser beam eyes just hanging from a skyscraper like King Kong, a mounted deer head riding a Vespa somehow. It's one of those games where you look at it for long enough and you really have to step back and question what you're doing with your life, and I mean that in the best possible way. Do not expect it to look spectacular, but do expect it to haunt your dreams. I'd say the thing that didn't jive the most for me was the sound design in Deer Simulator. You don't get too many tracks as far as a soundtrack goes, but the ones you do get don't make a whole lot of sense in the context of the game. You'll get some classical music thrown in with this one song that plays every time the police come out to get you, which did get on my nerves after a while. The sound that is made every time your character hits an object is super repetitive and does get obnoxious after a while. And then there's just no sound effects where there definitely should be. For example, when you're riding a horse, there's no clip-clopping horsey sound. I was looking for something like the coconuts in Monty Python, you know? Is the game weird? Yeah, absolutely it is. And you need to go into this knowing full well what you're signing up for. This isn't your run-of-the-mill simulator game by any stretch of the imagination or neck. Being run-based, it does get a little bit repetitive, especially with the same types of police officers coming after you each run, and some of the weirdness of the controls and the camera angles does get in the way of your enjoyment. So after some of the weirdness and the novelty of the whole thing wears off, you do kind of find yourself playing a mediocre game. But I think there's an audience for this. They did something weird and different here, and I liked it. I kept saying I was done and then jumping in for another round, so I think that says enough. So will you be simulating this deer? Let me know in the comments down below. Before I go, I just want to thank our indie warriors, Bill T, Christian Cruz, Kevilo, Mitchell Hall, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Adriana Amato, CJR, C Coil, Skeptism, Hallie, Julian Colbus, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Bunny, JRS8, Raylan, and Marky Mint. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, don't forget you can subscribe down below so you don't miss any of our reviews or previews, and check out the description box if you'd like to see how to become an indie warrior yourself. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.